Top 10 cities in the USA. Many things that make the biggest cities in the United States great places to visit, like nice weather, world-class museums, and good restaurants, also make them great places to live. Resonance, a consulting firm for real estate, tourism, and economic development, took all of these things into account, as well as user-generated data from the social media, to make a list of the best cities in the US for tourists and people who live there. Here are the 10 best. Number 10. Wilmington, NC. Port City has become a favorite place for Hollywood filmmakers in the last few decades. Shows like Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, We Are the Millers, and Iron Man 3 has used it as a setting. It's not hard to understand why. With buildings from 1730s in its National Register Historic District, live oaks that set the scene, and a river walk that people can walk along. Wilmington feels a bit like a less busy savannah. There's a lot of southern charm in places like the Early Gardens, where more than 75,000 azaleas come to life in the spring. The World War II era battleship North Carolina, which can be reached by water taxi, is a favorite military history fans who can walk through its living quarters, mess halls, gun turrets, and the rest of its non-levels. Number 9. San Antonio, Texas. One fan said, "The food is great and very different, especially at the mom-and-pop restaurants," while another praised the city's literal welcoming committee. They have people walking around called ambassadors, who are there to greet people, answer questions, and help in any way they can, said a voter. Number 8. San Jose, California. Because of its residents' wealth, the area will likely soon be home to an increased number of excellent cultural institutions and restaurants. For the time being, tourists can visit locations such as History Park, an open-air museum showcasing local architecture that's been preserved and relocated over the last few centuries. Some buildings featured in the museum include a Chinese temple, an entire hotel, and a trolley barn. Number 7. Key West, Florida. It's time to give Key West a chance. Many think of the island city as a meeting place for Happies and Jimmy Buffett fans. However, the city's historic architecture, excellent seafood restaurants, amazing sunset breaks the mold. Order the cheese-covered hogfish sandwich at Hogfish Bar and the key lime pie at Blue Haven. Work it all off later at Fort Zachary Taylor State Park, where the artificial reefs attract snorkelers and the long stretches of the beach keep you outside all day. And of course, don't forget to set aside some time to visit the Ernest Hemingway home and the museum, where you might see a six-toed cat. Number 6. New York City. Everything in Manhattan is of the highest caliber, from Broadway performances and historic buildings to art museum and retail businesses. However, the culinary scene is the one component of the city that seems to generate the most excitement among its residents and visitors. According to the comments left by one voter, if you can't find a wonderful lunch in the New York, you can't find one anywhere else. Number 5. Washington, D.C. Not surprisingly, the nation's capital gets high marks for its many free museums, like National Museum of African American History and Culture and other Smithsonian institutions like the National Air and Space Museum. In addition to its exhibition, the city has many neighborhoods worth exploring, such as Brookland, Noma, Shaw, and LGBTQ-friendly Logan Circle. These neighborhoods show that the city isn't just relying on its history to attract residents and visitors. Number 4. Alexandria, Virginia. Everyone in Washington knows this, but it shouldn't be a surprise that the rest of the world is catching on. Alexandria, Virginia, the charming historic city just across the Potomac River from our nation's capital, is a popular destination for tourists and people who want to move there. Most people start to think about moving there as soon as they step into the old town and walk along the red brick sidewalks. counting street after street of ideally kept row houses from the 18th and 19th centuries. Number 3. Santa Fe, New Mexico. This city in the southwestern United States draws tourists of all ages, due mainly to its thriving food and art sectors. A reader who gushed over the many attractions, such as Georgia O'Keeffe Museum and the Loreto Chapel, recommended that other tourists go to the Santa Fe Ski Basin, located just outside the city, since it's a terrific sight to observe the sunset. Number 2. Los Angeles, California. Most people think of the Hollywood when they think of the Los Angeles. But the richness and variety of the city's restaurant scene are just as crucial to its identity. The strong return of LA restaurants pushed this city to the top of the restaurant subcategory, thanks in part to the city's Latinx food and culture. Number 1. Charleston, South Carolina. There's a reason why people keep returning to Charleston. The city has the ideal blend of the southern charm, delectable cuisine, and walkability. Additionally, many readers found the city's history to be appealing. Others enjoyed the simple joys of walking the downtown side streets. So that's all for today's video. If you liked the video, click the like and the bell buttons. We'll have another video for you soon. Take care until then.